A male-to-female transgender swimmer from UPenn lost to a female-to-male transgender swimmer from Yale, and I'm going to need a scientific calculator to figure that one out.
Surgeons successfully transplanted a pig heart into a human. Unfortunately, he's since developed Parkinson's disease.
America's dad, Bob Saget, passed away. Let us all honor him by watching hundreds of hours of people getting hit in the nuts.
A survey found Americans are reading fewer books than ever before. Do your part by buying your wife an Amish romance novel.
Plus, you get to watch two Protestants absolutely roast the Catholic, a beloved tradition in church history.
All this and more on
The Bee Weekly.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Babylon Bee podcast, the podcast where you get to hang out and joke about the news with the Babylon Bee writers. Today, me and Adam Yenser are joined by Patrick Green, our resident Catholic.
Hey, and also
Kyle's birthday.
Kyle's birthday.
Oh, this is why you guys are asking me all kinds of dietary questions.
Yep.
I just thought that was,
We thought we were being extremely obvious.
This is awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, so I told them I was on keto, so they got me every keto snack thing that you can possibly get. Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you, guys. Incredible.
As much as we all hate keto, we're glad to help you with it.
Everybody's favorite episodes are the ones where we chew the whole time. So now
You can be chewing every episode for a week now.
I could just be eating meat the whole time. Oh, this is great, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I've got a ketone test strip, so I can test live.
How do you pee on those?
I have no idea. I've never.
I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
how they
urine.
work.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow, really?
I was just guessing. Yeah. I feel like most tests you pee on them.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get.
You're gonna find out you have COVID with that.
I know.
There's a strange amount of medical tests that you have to pee on things.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always the case. So
Happy birthday.
thank
Happy
you.
birthday,
I appreciate
Kyle.
that. 35.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you guys think I was older or younger than 35?
I thought you were right around 35.
Right around there?
Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah,
I don't know if I
you-
would have nailed it, but I would guess like 36, 35,
Right,
something like that.
Yeah.
Recently, people have been thinking I look a lot older.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think I'm like late 30s. So.
I will say 35 is the age that I started to feel old.
Really?
Like everything under 35, I felt young, and like when I went out and stuff, I felt like I was in the younger half of the population.
right.
And then everything after 35, like when I go anywhere, I'm like, oh, I'm in the older half of the population.
And that was about 20 years ago.
It was, yeah.
I think it's like the goatee, too. I always tell people the goatee adds like a 10
Does it
years.
add? Yeah. It's true. I really should get rid of the goatee because it is kind of a holdover from like youth pastor days, and I just never.
Oh, really?
I never got over like the youth pastor goatee look. It's very sad. But anyway, hey, we did a. Should I move this?
The keto's going to make you look a lot younger. You'll be all trim and
All
healthy.
trim and healthy here.
Until you give up on it next week.
or later today.
Oh, you think I'm gonna make it to next week? So we did a video, Seasons of Blood, 525,600 minutes of BLM riots, which was a parody of a parody.
Yeah.
Which is the thing.
Yeah.
So Stephen Colbert did a video that was about the 1 year since the Capitol or something. And
Yeah.
there's a few funny lines in there, I thought.
The beginning of it, I thought it was funny, and then it got heavy-handed.
Yeah.
But there was some funny stuff in it.
It's like they wrote one verse and then they're like, what else? I guess Trump is dumb. I mean, we could just maybe do that.
We'll just get applause instead of laugh here.
So it's on our YouTube channel, but YouTube like demonetized it and then did like a copyright claim on it. And they were trying to like throw everything at us to make it not go through. And then they finally slapped it as age restricted. So now you can't go check it out on YouTube. It was a lot of fun. And
You have to be 18 or older to view parodies on YouTube.
But you can be a kid to watch Elmo.
Yes.
The our Elmo vaccine video.
so our own Brandon Toy is a master like musician. What do you even call him? Like
Backup singer for Katy Perry, which I always love to say.
Was he really that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he said it was
that.
something along the lines of like he was singing in a church, and their like choir like was just involved with that, and so he became involved in like a music video with them.
But he was actually in a music.
He was actually
It's not
in
like
it.
it just. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if he just happened to be somewhere that Katy Perry was singing. I was singing along with her at a concert.
I think it was like the choir
I'm a
director
Katy Perry
knew it.
backup singer.
Yeah.
I see.
And it was kind of a fun thing to put together because we had everybody pitching in at the Babylon Bee. The vocals were by Brandon. Our managing editor Joel, who you saw last week, his wife Kelsey, he sang on it. Our writer James Lee, and James's sister Amanda Vargas all just like sent in vocals, and they just layered it on top of each other, and
it sounds good.
it
sounds like
really
the actual
good.
musical Rent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go check that out if you can. You can't like embed it or share it anywhere because of the age restriction, but go to it directly, I guess.
Yeah.
And go knock on your neighbor's doors and tell them to watch it too.
Play it outside people's windows.
Hey, we've got a Babylon Bee banger of the week.
Banger of the week.
Businesses now requiring positive COVID test as proof of vaccination. That's true-ish, I guess. I don't know.
Because a lot of people with the vaccine are getting COVID.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
But it's so weird to me that like now they're like having, they're mandating the vaccines, and Pfizer I think it was Pfizer that just announced they were going to do an Omicron vaccine, but it's going to come out in March.
There's going to be like 12,
Just in
12
time.
new variants by then.
For the 5 people that haven't gotten Omicron by March.
Exactly.
So we can just hold out a few more months and you'll get your Omicron
Okay.
vaccine. So, yeah, that's...
And what does this say? The European Union is warning that taking repeated boosters weakens the immune system, that we need to find a way to transition from a pandemic setting to an endemic setting. So, yeah, we just have to live with it and get it, like...
That's what I've just been hoping, is that everyone just gets it. And it feels...
And that's how it seems like it's happening now. Everybody has it, but it's just like a cold and then they...
Yeah, it's like a few days and then everyone's just fine.
Sorry, I'm pitching my joke as a Babylon Bee headline right now.
Okay.
Omicron vaccine to be made available in March for the 12 people who haven't gotten it yet. Gotten Omicron.
You saw it here first.
Wow.
Unless this airs after that headline
It's
gets
probably going
posted.
to air today.
Yeah.
So when you see the bomb of the week next week and it's that one,
that would be awesome if you could see the moment of creation of the bomb of the
Yeah,
week.
like the
before
excitement in his eyes, and it's like, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
and our writer Travis, who's sitting over there, just liked it.
Nice.
Liked my pitch.
Oh my gosh, suck up.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Hold on, I'm going to log on and like it quick also.
If you know what's good for you.
Yeah.
Hey, but we also had a bomb of the week, which was mine. I think this might be my first bomb of the week, or at least it's one of the first.
Bomb of the week.
9 key moments in today's SCOTUS vaccine mandate hearing, and this was just a list article that had the 9 key moments. I always want to title these articles like the 9 jokes that weren't funny enough for their own article.
Yes.
But yeah, Sotomayor was saying 100,000 kids are currently on ventilators.
Yeah.
See, I feel like a lot of these jokes could work, but it's like I haven't really paid attention much
Yeah,
to
it's definitely you have to.
But that one's not even a joke. She really said there
No,
were
yeah,
actually
it's
said
100,000
that, right?
kids on.
He was
yeah.
still talking about something else.
I see.
No,
Sometimes
yeah.
Catholics lag behind Protestants by a good 100 years.
I see.
But CNN even took her down. They said Sotomayor's claim about children wasn't even close to accurate. Fewer than 5,000 people under the age of 18 were hospitalized with cases of COVID-19 at the time. And I think even that was like a hospitalized with versus because of with versus from or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the question of like how many other things they were dealing with while they also had COVID.
Yeah. Justice Stephen Breyer, another liberal, said at one point in the hearing that there had been 750 million new cases yesterday, or close to that. I always like when they're off by a factor of like a million.
Yeah.
Like 100 million.
But I mean, even though it was the bomb of the week, it still got like 750 million shares. Right?
Yeah, it was
It did really well.
give or take.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Now it's time for some weekly news with Adam Yenser.
It's time for the weekly news with Adam Yenser.
It was kind of a sad week because there were several notable deaths. Hollywood's first black movie star and the first black actor to win an Oscar, Sidney Poitier, died at the age of 94. He was a pioneer in the industry, and his Oscar win paved the way for future Black Academy Award nominees like Morgan Freeman, Mahershala Ali, and Robert Downey Jr. One thing's for sure, Poitier will be mispronounced.
So I've never seen Tropic Thunder.
Oh, man.
Should I correct that?
I've never seen it either.
Really?
Okay.
No.
Oh man, it's like one of the best.
But he
films.
was nominated for an Oscar for
He
that
was
movie.
nominated.
He didn't win, but he
didn't
was
win.
nominated, yeah.
Heath Ledger won that year, but I remember it was It was amazing. Like,
really?
like it's like him being like a white guy taking a black guy's role. And
Yeah.
it's like there's amazing lines in it, just like him being a black guy for the whole movie.
Patrick thinks blackface is funny.
It's super.
Apparently,
funny.
the whole Academy did at that time. Now you can't
that
make
would-
a movie if there's a white person in it.
No, yeah. I remember like one point Jamie Foxx was telling Robert Downey Jr. was thinking like, oh, I don't want to do this role, and he's like, bro, you did blackface and you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, you can do whatever.
On Wednesday, former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, who passed away in December, lied in state at the U.S. Capitol, where Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi lied every other day this week. And of course, this week we lost a man who was a beloved comedic actor and television host, a talented director, and a terrible stand-up comedian, Bob Saget.
Did you really not like his stand-up? I never really saw his stand-up.
I never saw it.
What? You didn't see it?
I just knew that he was like very vulgar.
Yeah.
Is what I was
Yeah,
always
It's just-
told.
it was the whole, but he was good at other stuff. I'll miss him. Rest in peace, Bob Saget.
That was one of those.
He was a
early-
great talk show guest. He was
Yeah.
really funny.
That was one of those early revelations for me. Like he's just this like nice dad.
Yeah,
and, like,
but
and
if
then
you
you like see his stand up, you're like, whoa.
Well, it's weird because like people who are fans of him from Full House would come out and see his stand-up. It was like nothing like he was nothing like that.
A little off brand. Yeah.
Leah Thomas, the transgender UPenn swimmer who transitioned from male to female, has now lost to a Yale swimmer who is transitioning from female to male. Their amazing story will be documented in the new ESPN original film, Crotch Swap. It's kind of like Face Off, except the rivals switch crotches. But this goes to show you biological women can beat transgender women so long as you turn them into men first. And Leah Thomas previously broke several women's swimming records and is the only member of the women's swim team who can stand in the 6 feet deep part of the pool.
I like having Patrick on because he laughs so.
He's a great
I know.
laugher.
I know. If you hate the laugh track,
Now
this
the
one's for you.
Yeah,
It's much louder.
It's
this
right
episode.
here.
exactly. The 3 Georgia men who murdered Ahmaud Arbery were all sentenced to life in prison. They're looking forward to the nicer clothing and better haircuts they'll get in jail. A Planned Parenthood clinic in Tennessee was burned to the ground by an arsonist this week. Thankfully, no one was killed, unlike a normal business day. Planned Parenthood has vowed to find the culprit and offered their condolences to anyone whose baby survived the incident.
Dude, man.
Just to be clear, I don't condone Planned Parenthood arson. They're just jokes. Let's let them be the bad guys. For the first time ever, surgeons at the University of Maryland successfully transplanted a pig heart into a human, which proves you can't trust science. First, they told us bacon was bad for your heart. Now they're making entire hearts out of bacon. A Bel Air home, which is the most expensive in America, is about to hit auction for $295 million. This couple from House Hunters, who sell macaroni art and run gerbil daycare, have it on their favorites list. A Gallup poll found that Americans are reading fewer books than they have in the past, and the only one most Americans plan to finish in 2022 is the Book of Boba Fett.
Which was, it was all right.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I haven't started it
I think
yet.
we need to turn this episode into film reviews with Patrick.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, we should do that. It'll just be you reviewing films and Kyle and I going, oh, I haven't seen that.
I've never heard of that. It's more like
Yeah.
So into all the indie favorites that
Exactly.
no one has watched or will watch.
There's some big ones I haven't seen, though. I feel like Tropic Thunder was big, and I haven't seen that one yet.
Huge,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Archaeologists in Spain believe they have discovered the long-lost Temple of Hercules. The temple was identified by an enormous sculpture of Kevin Sorbo, along with etchings of several jokes he stole from the Babylon Bee.
I certainly hope he watches this
That
podcast.
is the best way to address this.
Yes, he'll probably tweet that joke out with no credit
With
given.
no credit.
Did we ever talk about this? I don't remember.
I feel like we maybe referenced it in passing, but I don't know that we've really gotten into it on a podcast.
Yeah.
So he
before.
started. So Sorbo was always sharing links to our articles, and then at some point he shifted to just copy
copies and
pasting the
pastes the
headline.
Yeah, and then like sometimes he would even take the image and like do
grab
it
the
too.
image.
So it was like almost everything.
Yeah, and when you take the image, you have to be like cropping it to like delete Babylon Bee. It's like here's we like Kevin Sorbo, I guess, right?
Yeah, he was on the
He was-
podcast.
he was-
Yeah, I think it's a boomer thing.
It's a
To be
boomer
honest,
thing.
that they don't think of jokes as like that. There's someone that this is somebody's website where they made this joke.
Yeah.
They just think of like retelling a joke that you heard.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my take.
Nice.
I'm sticking to it.
That's it for the weekly news. If you want to see more, check out the canceled news on my YouTube channel.
It is time for Heroes of the Faith, where we look at some heroes of the faith.
And now, it's time for this week's Heroes of the Faith.
And this week, we've got some, we have some pretty awesome sermons from some heroic faith preachers throughout the years. So let's begin with the first clip.
You know what all these atheists have in common? Video games. You can't think for themselves. They sit back and they drink Coke all day and sit behind a video game system and then wonder why, you're crazy, Brother Powell, for believing in a creator. Oh, you're insane. No, you're crazy, and you need to get off the video game system, and somebody needs to preach to them the gospel of Jesus Christ, and so that they can be saved.
I think some really solid points were made there.
Yeah. Because video games are the cause of everything evil.
And people just sit behind their video game system.
I love that. Go to Walmart or Best Buy. Can I get one video game system, please? You always know how old somebody is based on what they call it.
Now, do you think, like, when pastors do stuff like that, are they, like, did they think that out ahead of time and they're like, this is a really good sermon, this is an issue? Or is that, like, when you, like, didn't study the night before and you're like, crap, I got to come up with, I know, I'll go after video game systems
That's
today.
always a hit. That's always a hit with the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be like you're just getting on like a rage thing, and then it's just like, and video, like you were just talking about it right
But there's
before.
people in the congregation going like, yeah,
Shouting,
amen.
yeah.
And it's like, they're just on board for anything.
They're on board.
Yeah.
I always think it's funny when pastors, like, they pick this target that they know will get them a lot of people in the crowd going like, yeah. Whereas if they were to say something like, stop watching football on Sundays, and instead, be like, oh, wait a minute. They pick the easy target. You really know how to read the game. What did the Coca-Cola have to do with it?
Oh, yeah. I know. He has this very clear visual of what people who play video games are
just
doing.
the fat guy with soda and video games.
He didn't even go for the obvious Mountain Dew reference.
Yeah.
He went right for the Coca-Cola. So, all right, well, if you're an atheist playing your video game system,
that's what's holding you back.
at least he didn't call it a Nintendo. Like playing your Nintendo, which is always the boomer way of referring to video games. What else we got? This guy is also upset about not video game systems necessarily, but let's take a look. Let's take a watch.
When she's cooking supper, and man, everything's getting grilled in there, and your children sitting around here like a bunch of catfish at the end of a drain pipe, soaking up all of that filth. You just sneak yonder into the garage, and you get you. And you
He's got
come
an axe.
back, and while your wife's cooking, you say, children,
that
you may
laugh
want
is
to move
great.
back a little bit. And you take this thing.
Oh, man.
He is now bashing a CRT television with an axe.
I hate that thing. Now, wait a minute. When she comes running in, you be standing there like this going...
This is actual practical advice for... wow.
Oh, man.
And he's literally telling them, like, this is what you do if your kids are watching too much TV.
Dude,
Get an axe, and then when your wife walks in, cackle like a maniac.
Reminds me of like an evil leprechaun.
He's dancing across the stage. I like how he destroyed a CRT television as well. This giant.
I like to think that he like
TV.
borrowed a TV and didn't tell the guy
I
what
like
it was
that the
for.
congregation's always 100% like...
All right, well, you know what else is evil? Pokemon. Let's find out why.
Church to deal with issues as they come to the forefront in society. I said, son, what is that one morning? He said, that's Pokemon. Son, I found out that Pokemon means pocket monster. Pokemon is...
It's true.
Pokemon, plural, are incredible creatures that share the world
plural
with
right.
humans. Each has his own fighting abilities. Some grow and evolve into even more powerful creatures. The children are developing relationships with all these Pokemon creatures. Little, reclusive, power-filled monsters. But why should they carry these monsters in their pocket? They say the Pokemon whole
solid
effort is
point.
to train
Never thought about
children
it
how
that
to
way.
become the #1 Pokemon master in the world. You follow it through the New Age teaching, you find out that masters are those who take control of spirits in the dark realm. And they tell those spirits what to do. The child at some
The
point
word master.
becomes capable
Satan.
of taking these powers and channeling them through their mind, through their arms, or through their power sources. Their power sources, of course, are many of the symbols that they pick up from the Pokemon paraphernalia. So Pokemon is a game that teaches children how to enter into the world of witchcraft, how to cast spells, how to use psychic
I love the shot of
phenomena, how to
the lady
put
in the audience
supernatural
just
powers
nodding
against
along.
their enemies, how to fantasy role play. Pokemon world is a world of the demonic, of the satanic. But while you might not take it quite seriously, I assure you that demons take it quite seriously. Satan takes it quite seriously. Your children need to know there's a devil, and
Satan
he hates
is
them, and he wants to
Jigglypuff.
ruin their life. There was even a couple of reports where children had been stabbed by other children over Pokemon cards. Do you remember the Dungeons and Dragons game of the 80s where children
now we're
and young
going
people
into
even ended
D&D.
up killing themselves because it was a role-playing game? Our kids are going out in gangs on the streets, and they're so used to killing each other in their fantasy games and on their video screens and blowing each other away and blowing each other up, that when they walk down the streets and they pull out their 45 and they pump some friend full of bullets, they kind of think in the back of their mind, well, they're just going to, we'll turn off the machine and they'll get up and they'll be there tomorrow and I'll shoot them again. It's just a game.
You can't just like
Russian roulette.
I never
It's
had that
just a
thought
game.
once.
But they're so into this make-believe world that they can't distinguish between fantasy and real. Listen, I can't stress this enough. How that everything in life is real. Everything.
Were you all like, was Pokemon big for you?
Oh yeah, we stabbed kids all the time.
Yeah, you shot kids every day.
I remember the great Pokemon gang wars. And I was big into Pokemon. It was on at like 6 a.m. or something before it was super popular. And I would get up and watch it on UPN 13 like every morning at 6 a.m.
I was big on the show too. I was probably big more on the show than the cards. Really.
I don't remember which I got first, but I had Pokemon Blue.
Like the Game Boy. Oh yeah, and that too, the Game Boy games.
Yeah, I had Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy, and then I started watching the anime. I think that was the order, and then eventually I got into the card game, and I had a bunch of the cards.
Did you like do the whole card and everything? Because I never really figured out the rules
like
and everything.
playing the card game? Oh yeah, I
yeah.
played the card game.
Okay.
We did tournaments and we'd go to the card shop and play, and yeah.
I feel like I was watching the South Park guys talk about it too, which I never realized in it, where they talk about how like you got to catch them all, Like that is a little weird to tell kids like catch every single one of them. Like you have to become the number one master.
It is this, the tagline of the show is the marketing strategy,
Yeah, it was like genius.
And it's so genius on one level, like, because there are 150 of these unique, cute little creatures, and you have to own every one of them.
And then they can keep adding more each time.
I know,
Every
yeah.
time
Then they were like,
Yeah.
like I don't know what's
enough.
past the first 150. Like I know all those really well, but I don't know anything past the 150.
I don't know
really.
anything past 150.
Yeah.
But I know all of the
Yeah,
150.
exactly.
So you were into it too, right?
So I was like a little old for it, but I had two younger brothers who watched it, and they played the card game also. So I like the Game Boy game.
Yeah, the Game Boy game is
That's what
super
I got
fun.
into, yeah.
And like the Pokemon Battle on N64 and stuff.
We should see how many Pokemon you can name right now. Go.
Oh man, Pikachu, Bulbasaur,
You didn't even start with number
Squirtle.
one.
I know,
right.
I know. Squirtle was always my favorite though, for some reason. I don't know why.
Machamp, Venusaur, Satan.
Bulbasaur, yeah.
Satan, also known as Jigglypuff.
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 All right, so here's one. Our pastor's giving us some dating advice. So let's check this out.
I need to hear
That's
this.
what Patrick and I need.
About
Watch
Boaz.
it. You won't get the one God has for you. You'll get his relatives. To the girls, I found this on the internet. He has, Boaz is spelled B-O-A-Z. Everybody say B-O-A-Z. And so he's got some relatives called broke ass, po ass, lying ass, cheating ass, dumb ass, drunk ass. Don't go out with him. Cheap ass. Turn to somebody and say, I dated him. Locked up ass, good for nothing ass, lazy ass, and especially his third cousin beating your ass.
Whoa.
Wait on your
Escalated
Boaz
quickly.
and make sure he respects your ass. Now there's your word. You wanted a word, you got a word.
standing ovation for that.
This is exactly.
This is the Def Jam preaching hour.
God take you through some loneliness.
This is how I imagine every Protestant goes. This is exactly what I think of.
Yeah.
That was like a Bob Saget comedy routine.
You know, I have an aversion to any preacher who tells me to do something during a sermon. Like he says, like, turn to your neighbor and say,
"Oh, back, yeah."
Just, I'm not going to do it.
Really?
Maybe I'm stubborn.
Yeah, well, it's always awkward when it's like something like tell your like person next to you your deepest, darkest secret, and you're just like,
do they do that in Catholic?
I've been at some things where they'll say something like, "We'll talk about what you've been struggling with," and it's like someone who just like sat down next to them, like, yeah.
All right, well, praise the Lord for these heroes of the faith. This wasn't a good, we're trying to mock the Catholics this episode, and we didn't really set ourselves up very well by showing off.
Well, we can roast some of the
Yeah.
evangelical.
I wanted to look.
and
There
then-
was a time period where they were doing clown masses, and I was trying to find a good video, and I couldn't really find it. But the people were literally like dressing up as clowns.
The clown
In
Really?
order to like it's just so terrible. There are videos of it, but I don't think anything very good to react.
And that's
to.
stranger than the normal costumes that.
Normal, wait, a little more,
Okay.
a little worse.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a sketch this week: the unvaccinated man who feels left out because all his vaccinated friends have COVID. Let's take a watch.
My name is Chris Smitherson, and I'm unvaccinated. Ever since Omicron hit, I've just felt so alone. I feel so left out since all my vaccinated friends have COVID. Every time I see my vaccinated friends all hanging out inside, wearing masks because they all have COVID, I really start to regret my decision not to get the jab. Sometimes I fake a sneeze just to feel included, but they can tell I'm healthy. I've tried everything. I licked doorknobs, I double dipped guacamole, I even ate a Golden Corral. But nothing worked. No matter how hard I try, I just can't get the Rona. Since I can't be quarantined with my friends, I guess I just have to continue on with my life. Out here. As if there's no pandemic. At all.
Hilarious.
So funny.
Patrick wanted to mention that you got to look for Gavin. Find Gavin in the video.
It's one of my favorite Easter eggs. It's always Gavin. It started with the Let's Go Brandon, where I watched him kind of falling asleep while we were filming.
Yeah, did we mention? I think we did mention that on this podcast. So Let's Go Brandon sketch. You can look in the top right corner, and everybody's sitting there watching their kids and the sports teams, and there's this random guy who doesn't look old enough, like.
To be like
have this whole family that's like playing baseball and stuff, and he's just wearing sunglasses and a hat, and he's just like completely conked out on the bench.
and that was like one of the rare times I've filmed a sketch, and like I remember just going like, Gavin, put your head up, because he kept like asleep, and I was like, it's looking worse because he's wearing sunglasses and he looks like he's just like kneeling over.
So look out for the Gavin Easter egg. It's time to burn some Catholics at the stake.
Jeez.
Protestants versus Catholics. Fight!
So we read an article this week that criticized the Babylon Bee for one of the points was for hiring a Catholic.
Wait, really? We got.
Yeah.
Oh.
They like,
sometimes I see comments saying that like we go after Catholics too much.
Oh, too much,
Like,
yeah. Somebody was mad that we hired a Catholic.
Oh, okay.
it was a whole thing about Elon Musk, and then one of the best things was like they had like all these points.
Sub-points. Here's everything wrong with the Babylon Bee, and one of them was like, I even heard rumors that they hired a Catholic. Like deep, dark rumors.
I love the idea that it's like we're gonna get them all by like trying to not hire them, put them as far away from us as possible.
So we decided to make things right by absolutely grilling our local Catholic, Patrick. So let's dive in. So first off, what's the deal with the Pope's big hat?
There's actually a reasoning for the cross. It's actually which it's supposed
Jesus means Jesus.
No, it's supposed to be Peter because Peter. That's why it's an upside down cross. It's like Peter was crucified upside down. So that's one reason for the hat. Why it's so big. Probably to make it so if someone shoots at him, it shoots through the hat.
Upside down cross. We're off to a good start.
It's a really good start. That's what I find funny about like horror movies. That always because I watch a lot of horror movies and they always do the upside down crosses like it's Satan, but like for a lot of it, it's not actually.
I walked into a Lutheran church one time and I was surprised. It was in Guatemala. I saw this Lutheran church and all of their stuff was like the upside down cross. And we were like weirded out. We're like, what is? And they're like, oh, it's like St. Peter's Day, so. They had those up. But it is a strange symbol because it's used so often.
Yeah, it feels so often in horror movies. Like I remember Conjuring had the big thing where all the crosses are on the wall and they're all turning over. And I was like, to me, I was like, that's not that. I wouldn't be the end of the world.
So you're on the side of the demons in that movie.
I was like, that's okay.
Just to be clear.
Totally. That's to the person who wrote that article. I'm on the side of the demons.
And then we've also noticed Catholics seem a little more chill with getting drunk. And I'll say as a Lutheran, we're big drinkers sometimes too, but there's a lot of evangelical and certain groups that they abstain from alcohol a little more.
And the Bible's also against getting drunk.
I mean, but Jesus did make wine.
Alcohol.
It's pro-alcohol, just against getting
you're not supposed to get drunk.
Which, I mean...
So why are you guys so chill? Why do you just...
we drink wine every Mass.
Patrick at the company party...
I know, that was really funny. I remember one of the best moments of the company party was I was talking to Seth and he just mentioned as an aside, we should take a picture. And I was so in it. And I was just like, we need to take a picture. And I was just like, everyone outside. And I was just like, it's just one of those things where you just keep drinking and you're talking and having a good time. You don't realize it. So I think it's just Catholics like to have a good time. So,
but you got up super early and made it to Disneyland the next morning.
I know.
I was like, he bounced right back.
I remember it was the best thing was seeing you parking lot, and you gave me this look of how you doing?
How you doing, Patrick? So, you know what the Bible is?
I've heard of it.
You guys have more books in there. Which one of those is your favorite and why? And do you read it?
I had to look. I forgot that most Protestants don't have the full. Are Lutherans the same way?
We don't have Maccabees.
So there's a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've read them. I think I looked that up before this.
I'm glad that you feel like you've read them.
Yeah, no, it's to me, it was just it's just the normal Bible. So I think I remember reading Tobit and I really liked it. So
it's like when you watch the Lord of the Rings.
Tobit either. What are the Catholic ones?
There's a bunch. There are a couple of them. It's kind of random. I would thought James or something would been kicked out.
That's the one you would have.
That's what I thought the Protestants would have.
Luther tried to kick it out, but
he did.
He wasn't successful.
Is that because the faiths versus works lines in it? Yeah.
That's what I felt. That's what I always thought. They must not have James, but apparently it's just all Old Testament, wisdom. I think it's wisdom is Maccabees.
Correct.
Tobit, I know. Tobit, I remember reading and really enjoying.
Yeah. I was thinking, it's like when you watch Lord of the Rings extended edition so many times, you don't know.
That's how I am. I just don't know what the real, what the first version or second version.
The real version, the real Protestant version.
This is to all the Catholic people who have taught me, and they're all keeling over.
What's the deal with praying to saints, indulgences, and Mary? You have who is Mary, and do you have 30 seconds?
Mary. So if Jesus is the second coming of Adam, Mary would be the second coming of Eve, and she was the Ark of the Covenant with Jesus. So is she born having Jesus, being pregnant with Jesus, means she was connected to Jesus at a certain point. Okay. So that is why we honor Mary and we
pray to her.
And then we also pray to saints as in a way to talk to God and something more specific. So there's my short answer to why saints and Mary.
And indulgences? You dodged the question.
They don't do that one anymore, right?
No, we don't really do that. So
that was the one where you were the Protestants have got a point there.
Yeah, no. I think there was there are some points there. And I think it's so in confession, you'll get things you'll say whatever sin, and then it's oh, hey, go say these prayers. And it's the thing is, it's for you. It's not for for God. It's not going to make it right for God. It's more for you to make something for you to do.
How much do they cost?
At least $10.
$10. That's a good deal.
Why are Catholic churches and cathedrals so beautiful? Why not just open up shop in a commercial building or an ugly strip mall space?
Dude, that's like the
which
thing.
Some of our churches do.
I think it's so funny that churches are in strip malls. I that's what I love about the church, the Catholic Church, is that it's like beauty is like a part of like, you know, why you come, and like if you have something for, like if you have the Eucharist where it's like you believe that that is God, it's like you want to have it at the biggest space beautiful for it. You don't want like some random strip mall that was like a Kmart. That's
that's one like I always go back and forth on, because there is something very beautiful about Catholic churches and cathedrals, like if you've been like Notre Dame or like any of the European one. And I get like the beauty of it, like kind of pointing to God, and it feels like a holy space. But then there's also the idea of like, should we be, you know, having these like golden, you know, ornate, expensive buildings, you know, to honor God.
I think that's something I've struggled with too. And I think like what I come back to is always just like that. It's like, it's because I even thought about this, even like films and things like that. It's like, why do films when it's like there's someone struggling to buy food? And I guess the thing I always come back to is that it's helping people who, the builders of it, who are like expressing what they feel like is God.
What do you think about that one, Kyle?
I mean, it's wrong, but
Kyle goes to the ugliest church possible.
I am going to a Calvary Chapel that looks like a shopping mall right now. Yeah.
I went to a church that was in an old car dealership, so it had like I didn't.
Did it have the inflatable?
I did a fundraiser, like a stand-up fundraiser there one time, and it was like the whole front was like glass, like open to the street, because it was like an old building that used to be like it was an RV dealership, I think, actually.
Pastor parks his car in there
and like just like shows it off.
Yeah.
Roman Catholics seem pretty chill and ecumenical with Protestants nowadays, and Protestants are a little more we don't like you as much. What is the major difference separating Protestants and Catholics?
So like in the 90s, I wasn't really like I was born in 92, so I kind of missed a lot of that. But I feel like there was a lot more volatile between Protestants and Catholics. And it feels like, at least on the Catholic end, it feels like it's not as like, we'll make fun of Protestants for things, but it's like when I talk to a Protestant, it feels like a personal vendetta against Catholics sometimes.
I always feel like I like Catholic jokes, like joking about it, but I feel like it's because it's not currently like an actual, you know, like violent, heated issue. Yeah. Like it's, I don't actually have anything against Catholics. I just think it's fun to kind of joke about it.
No, yeah, but then there's like some people you talk to where it's just like, it's like you've chosen poorly. Like it's like the Indiana Jones thing, and it's like, and honestly, it was probably the Calvinists that have always been the worst. So
it's true.
But sorry, what was it? So what was it? The major differences? I mean, the Eucharist to me is like always the major difference to me. Like I don't think I could ever go to a church without like the Eucharist. But like I know for Protestants they always start with like the Pope and like the authority, whereas like I start with more of like the Eucharist, I guess. So.
Another interesting but wrong answer. Yeah, okay, well, finally, what's your least favorite Protestant denomination?
I know, like, what's classified? Like, are Jehovah's Witnesses classified as Protestants?
No, they're a cult.
Oh, they're a cult. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we love you if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you watch this program.
I think it's besides the Calvinists, I think it would have to be like the evangelical, like.
That's like everybody, though.
So is that everybody? That's the thing.
Those
I don't
are like
understand.
categories of denominations.
Yes.
Okay.
Like they're like sort of big movements, but then there are different evangelical churches.
Who do you like the least? All of you.
All of you. All of you are
like, what
worst.
are there all? There's Lutheran, there's Methodist,
Lutheran,
there's
Methodist, Presbyterian.
What's the real liberal
Baptist, Episcopalian.
Episcopalian, yeah.
Yeah, like I've been to Episcopalian was strange for me. I did like a wedding for them once, and like it was like a woman priest, and it was like almost Catholic but not.
Yeah.
So I feel like that almost
Catholic
annoys me
light.
more because it's like it's Catholic.
You'd rather
light.
them go hardcore.
Yeah, I'd rather them be like hardcore RV parking lot.
Yeah.
You know,
So
than
you
like
like-
having like almost like it's like just you need just a little bit more.
It's the uncanny valley. That's what it is. All right. Well, thanks for coming on to defend your beliefs. We thoroughly roasted you. We have some subscriptions, some questions from our subscribers later on in the subscriber portion for Patrick. So hang around for that. We got some hate mail this week.
I really miss Adam Ford.
All the atheists got their fedoras in a bunch over the J. Warner Wallace interview, where we interviewed the Christian apologist J. Warner Wallace. Progressive Network says 3 Christians sit in a room and pat each other on the back, claiming they are right. Should we have pretended to be atheists in the interview? Or
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever had a hardcore atheist on here? Like talking to them?
We've had hardcore atheists that we talk to, but generally it's like we were talking about politics. You know, they were more aligned with us on politics.
But who we did talk to, that the interview will be posted this coming week, is Justin Breyer, who, if this guy's interested, he is a Christian who has on atheists all the time and kind of engages in dialogue with them.
Justin Brierly, I think.
Justin Brierly, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be fun. I remember Austin Robertson. That was only one of the first interviews that I edited. I think he is an atheist, but it's like even him, he was like more inclined for Christians too. So it's like, I think it'd be super fun to have more atheists on.
Leet Ponage says, do the death of Superman next.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. Do you guys know what that means?
Is that hate mail?
It's about the same thing. It's all hate mail in that interview.
Oh.
So he's saying that Jesus is Superman or whatever.
Oh, like write a book because this book is about like the death of Jesus. So do like the death of Superman.
So you believe in Jesus? Why not believe in Superman?
Burn,
like doing an investigation.
We have been pwned.
Oh man,
lately. Yeah. You want to take the next one, Patrick? This is Al B.
Al B says, last time I saw Jesus, he was riding a velociraptor armed with a heavy machine gun, ready off to fight Mecha Satan. I'd start there.
Well, I'm glad he at least saw Jesus. He must
I know.
He's probably a believer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been like a fun time. I feel like that. I mean, if you have to see Jesus, that's the best way.
And the last one is from Nick Kelly. It says, and now from Babbling Bee, your capitalized daily dose, capital, of stupid, capital. James Webb finds the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve sitting under a tree eating some fruit appear to be excellent health and just as disobedient as ever. They appear to be having company, some guy wearing a tool belt with some large rolled up paper tucked under his arm mumbling. What does that even mean?
It feels like it starts out good and then it just kind of loses it halfway through.
Something?
James Webb?
Who's James Webb? Is that someone?
I just Googled it. It's like there's a telescope named the James Webb Telescope. Former United States Undersecretary of State.
They also appear to be having company. Some guy wearing a tool belt with some large rolled up paper tucked under his arm mumbling. I don't understand what that's referencing.
Is it like a conspiracy theorist or something?
Some guy wearing a tool belt. I don't know. I really want to know what that reference is. Can we find Nick Kelly?
We need to message him.
Nick Kelly, if you're watching this one as well, please comment. I really want to know what this is about.
I always wonder if like people do the hate mail just to be featured on here, like if they're actual fans.
Well,
or
yeah,
not.
that could happen for sure. But I think
a lot of people really they sound genuinely.
Yeah, like I feel like
they sound genuinely hateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds genuine.
But what's weird is like a lot of these, it sounds like the things that they reference in it, like they had to have listened to the whole podcast and hated it the whole time. Like,
I don't feel like I could listen to something I hate. Yeah. Like I couldn't listen to a whole like Alyssa Milano podcast.
Yeah,
and like just to get like mad.
How mad I am. Yeah, it's true. All right, let's move to our subscriber lounge. We have our classic B story of the week. We have some bonus subscriber questions from Patrick. And we've got our subscriber submitted headlines of the week and some love mail as well.
Coming up next, for Babylon Bee subscribers.
I had a lot of fun being mean to the kids.
Trump was merely sharing the gospel with that porn star, explains Jim Baker. Yeah, so we got some criticism for the way we asked Musk to accept Christ.
What do you think it is where people want to identify as Catholic, but then it's like, I don't actually believe any of the teachings of the Catholic Church?
Yeah. I need the patron saint of like when you open the door for someone, but they're just far enough away.
Yeah.
And then they have to jog.
This has been another edition of the Bee Weekly from the dedicated team of certified fake news journalists you can trust here at the Babylon Bee. Reminding you that AOC is definitely the worst, but we would totally date her if we could.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. We were just kicking back in the old, sultry, exclusive Babylon Bee Subscribers Lounge. There are a few bigwigs in here. And Kirk Cameron's over in the corner sipping a root beer. And Kevin Max is over by the fire, writing weird poems. We were just about to light up a pipe of fine, soapy bubbles and pop open a bottle of Martinelli's 2019 vintage. Of course, only the best for our subscribers. Pull up a recliner and join us, won't you?
Oh yeah, welcome to the Babylon Bee Subscriber Lounge. We're hanging out, and we've got a classic Babylon Bee story of the week. We have Trump was merely sharing the gospel with that porn star, explains Jim Baker. I have an interesting story about this one. I don't know if I've ever told her. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell, but we got a letter from Jim Baker's lawyer about this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I think we just ignored it, and we never heard back. But
Was it just like a cease and desist thing?
it was like their threatening letter, like you have to pull this down, but there was no actual legal action. So
that's amazing.
But yeah, that is one that got shared a lot as people thought it was real.
It is one that just, it sounds like it could be real.
Yeah. It does go on that side of the line for sure.
Pretty amazing though.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I don't even really remember who Jim Baker was, honestly.
They all blend together to me. Like
yeah.
You got Jimmy Swaggart and Jim Baker and
he was the one with Tammy Faye Baker, right?
Yes,
they were like they were a couple, right? And then did they both have affairs, or one of them had an affair?
I don't remember if.
Oh, is that the one that just the movie with Andrew Garfield just came out or something, right? Am I wrong?
Swaggart is the one who got caught with the hooker in Coachella, and Baker. I don't remember if he had.
But is him saying that Trump was sharing the gospel with a porn star? Is that a playoff of something Jim Baker did?
No, it was just that he was constantly going on to defend Trump.
Just defending Trump no matter what. I see.
He was one of those guys that was always defending him. But no, I don't remember his exact thing. The last thing I remember about Jim Baker is that he was selling like those buckets of nacho cheese for when the rapture
I've seen that.
comes.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he has like and there's a
We
great.
should do a Heroes of the Faith about him if we
totally
haven't
should.
already.
We
Yeah,
totally need
because it's
to.
a well-known one, but I don't remember all the details
I
of it.
feel like you guys might have done it, but yeah, I remember just because he's like tastes the cheese like live or something.
There's a great video where he tastes the nacho rapture cheese live, and he's like, delicious. And it's like quite obvious that it's not delicious. So it's like the narrator. It was not, in fact, delicious. So we continue on to some subscriber questions for Patrick. You guys asked us in the thread there in the premium section. Brother Tim asks, what are the top 3 books you'd want a Protestant to read?
So I asked my brother this question because I'm not smart enough, and he sent me my brother is a seminarian.
And he's Catholic?
I hope so. And he sent me 3 books that he said, which were The Lamb's Supper by Scott Hahn.
Okay.
Which Scott Hahn, see, I'm better with like podcasts, like Who to Go, Who for Talks. Like Scott Hahn would be a good one. And then Bible Basics for Catholics.
And finally, The Da Vinci Code.
Finally, The Da Vinci Code by John Burt. This actually is one I think I've read part of it, is Why We're Catholic by Trent Horn. So Trent Horn's also a really good one to check out if you're actually interested in like
Do not read any of them.
Don't read any of them, because then you may be crazy like me.
The next one is from Kyle Mann. Submitted this one. A fan named Kyle Mann submitted this online. What's it like being so wrong about theology?
It feels so great, because I know that I'm right with heaven, so,
sure.
you know.
This is by L.J. Harpering, I think. And who would you recommend more, G.K. Chesterton or C.S. Lewis?
C.S. Lewis if they have no idea about anything Christianity. G.K. Chesterton if it's like a Protestant to Catholicism.
Well, Lewis wasn't Catholic. He was Anglican, right?
Yeah, so Lewis is just like Mere Christianity and Screwtape Letters is like a great like intro. And then like G.K. Chesterton is like more like the next step, I feel.
C.S. Lewis will bring you to Christianity, and then G.K. Chesterton will take you away from Christianity to Catholicism.
Yeah, to the right thing.
We have a question from T-Mac. Why do you laugh at every joke in the podcast?
So I remember when I first started working, I think it was like a Michael Malice interview, but it was when he was like in New York. And I laughed at things because I didn't know, no one explained to me the rules when I got here. Like I just came in and they were just like, take notes. And so I started taking notes and I laughed at the jokes, but no one was like saying that was wrong. And so I just kept doing it. And I'm always known for being the loud one in every place that I'm at. So
You're a good laugher. It's good for
I've had
comedy anywhere. Yeah,
I've had comedians come up to me and like thank me after shows.
You were the only one laughing.
I try to be a good laugher too, and I usually am. Like when I go to like open mics, especially and stuff. Like when there's, I never like force a laugh, but I never like stifle it. And what sucks is sometimes like you're in an audience like that, and then you get on stage and tell jokes, and everyone else like they try to hold it back or not.
Yeah, which is weird.
Come on, I wish I wouldn't have laughed at any of you.
Screw you guys.
I'm trying not to look at the questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is this next one me?
Yeah.
This is from Slightly Desperate Housewife, one of our most common contributors. What did you do before the bee?
I did a lot of jobs. I think
we found him drunk in an
I was
alley.
just drunk on the side of the road. So before, let's say like right before the like pandemic hit, I was substitute teaching. I was background acting. I was doing some assistant work for a writer who wrote on like a few shows. And then I was also teaching blind people how to use Mac computers. And all of them ended like right as the pandemic hit.
You seem like you'd be a cool substitute teacher.
I was pretty mean. Like I had a lot of fun being mean to the kids. Yeah, like the kids would say something like they'd be like, "I don't want to do this," and I'd be like, "I don't care. Like stop doing it then." And so I was actually very mean. I enjoyed being mean, but I do remember like I would have some good conversations with the kids. But I do remember constantly I hated every second of it.
And you were telling me the other day you worked with Andrew Dice Clay for a while, didn't you? That's amazing.
That was the first podcast
That's awesome.
that I was on. Was I found like a Facebook post of that guy, and some guy was just like, "Hey, I need you to come work." Like someone like needs to work on Andrew Dice Clay, and I found out the reason why is because he called Dice. And he had a bad attitude, so he said, "Fire him." And the company didn't want to fire him. They just were like, "Hey, just go to a Starbucks or something." So the first day I get there, I'm like taping the name over my friend's name. And Dice comes in. And you could hear him like in the first podcast where like if you look it up, because most of it's behind a paywall. And he says something like, he's just sitting there and he goes like, "Hey, yo, this is not a podcast. This is a dice cast." And like throws his headphones down. And he goes like, "Patrick, turn the camera to the side. This is the dice cast." And I remember the best moment ever happened was he came in the first day and he was just like, here, what I want you to do is like, throw your camera like this. And I was like, I knew that wasn't going to cut well. Like, it just looked stupid. So I'm just doing this. And like, he came up at one point and just grabbed the camera and was doing it for me. So then Jeff Garland came in. And so I'm doing this stupid movement in the beginning. And Jeff Garland looks at me and he was like, "What the F are you doing?" And Dice just looks at me and goes like, "Hey, let the kid do what he wants to do." It was a terrible experience that made me very turned off by the whole podcast before I got
So he threw you under the bus like it was
He threw me the bus like it was my idea.
I don't know what he's doing.
Idea.
He's one of those kids.
Just let him do what he wants to do here. Which on that podcast, if you ever watch it, which I don't think anyone I've never met watched it, but I don't laugh at all. I was too nervous to laugh around Dice Clay. So
do they let people laugh around, or is
they were like, he was like, "I want to make this like a reality show." Like so, he would have like all his like sons were on it, and like
All right, well.
So that's some of the things I did.
We were just too like awkward to ask you to stop laughing. Like we were just like, "Oh, he's laughing. What do we do?" Like
I know. I just didn't know. I didn't know the rules.
We didn't really have a rule about it. You were laughing. We're like, "Well, I guess he could laugh." We never talked about it. Conservative Prof asks if you've ever thought of putting your laughs in jars and selling them. Dan Dillon says, "What do you find most appealing about the potential for an underground network of tunnels to help lower traffic congestion in urban areas? Is it the possibility that it will help lower traffic congestion in urban areas? If so, please explain. Do you have any advice for somebody that's not Catholic and has no intention to ever be Catholic?"
As long as you're okay with going to hell, it's all good.
But no comment on the tunnels question.
I'm all for the tunnels.
Okay. They can tunnel all the way to hell.
Yeah, they can tunnel all the way to hell.
This is from Cool Daddy-O. How it working out with Christian Mingle? Find the love of your life yet? If so, you know who to thank for writing that stellar bio.
Which, okay, I have to say on the record, it wasn't Christian Mingle, it was Reformed Mingle.
Oh, Reformed Mingle, yeah.
And they did make a shout out to us in the email, but they also in the same email, they were like, "Congratulate." It's like, "Hey, everyone, we have great news. 30 new people in the whole country have signed up."
Wow.
So, yeah,
really
not a lot of
got the
people
word
on
out.
there, but I don't know if I've got it.
But we signed up 30 people? Was that the implication?
Sure.
Oh, okay. All right, well. Toyota says, which saint do you find yourself praying to the most?
So a common one in Catholicism is Saint Anthony because he's the one who helps you find things. And then I think then there's also...
Like find things in a deep way, like finding answers, or like I lost my glasses and I need to find my glasses.
Yeah, you pray to Saint Anthony like, oh, I lost my glasses, Saint Anthony. And also like, yeah, like I can't find anything. And then also there's, I think it's Saint Christopher, which is the saint of lost causes, which all the time. So...
I like the idea of having incredibly specific patron saints for different little.
There are a lot in
Catholicism. What's funny about like I remember you guys did this bit with Matt Frad, which I guess I didn't like think about it. Is that like the saints, like they don't like we don't know like most Catholics do not know, and
but there are ones like there was one in that I remember that was like the patron saint of people who print playing cards or something like that.
It's like somebody supposed, and it's like usually what it is it's because what a saint is only made after they died, so it's more of like what the group of people who are praying to them that they become, but like I wouldn't know who that saint was. Like I know a few popular.
They're like
ones.
Pokemon. You gotta catch them all.
You gotta catch all the
saints.
There's 151 original saints.
I need the patron saint of like when you open the door for someone, but they're just far enough away.
Yeah.
And then they have to jog, or someone else opens the door for you, and you have to awkwardly jog.
You have to like wait. Yeah, you have to jog for it.
I want that patron saint.
This is from Kiergol. If you were the Pope, would you deny communion to Biden? How about Pelosi? That's a heavy question.
It's a tough question because it comes down to like conscience, I feel, because it's like when you're in the communion line, it's like...
Yeah, baby murder often comes down to issues of conscience.
Well, like the person like asking for it. But yeah, no. I mean, like, yeah, I guess I would, but like at the same point, it's like it's up to them. I feel like I like the more it's on their responsibility of their own selves to get it or not.
You wouldn't even fence the table. You would let me take communion.
Yeah, but then it's up to you because that's on your conscience.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a real question that I have about Catholicism? And this doesn't apply to you, but it applies to sort of that kind of thing. And there's other denominations where people do this. But I meet a lot of like liberal Catholics, especially in Hollywood, that they say they're Catholic. They identify as Catholic. They go to a Catholic church. But then they believe, they're pro-abortion, or they believe in gay marriage, or they accept these. Like, what do you think it is where people want to identify as Catholic, but then it's like, I don't actually believe any of the teachings of the Catholic Church?
Yeah, I think there is some people who say, like, if your conscience is telling you that it's wrong, that it's like it's okay then, like to go against it, I guess.
So there are Catholic scholars and stuff that believe that?
There's some Catholics that will say that. And I think,
I see.
But not in like probably who are like, I think a very like serious Catholic scholar, but like I've heard that before from like Colin, the guy who's a Weekend Update guy.
Yeah.
He said that before, which I thought was interesting because it's like I've never heard people saying that, but I think part of it also too, I think, is that it is very cultural too, I think. But I think a lot of it comes down to that too, where I think it's like your conscience is telling you something different, even though every single
because there's definitely other denominations that do that too. But I'm always like, why don't you become Episcopalian, or why don't you join the one where it's like we believe in Jesus, but we don't believe all this other stuff?
I don't know. I mean, it could just be just like the cultural aspect, or just like that you want to be a part of like the church with the actual like beautiful cathedral thing. I'm not completely sure. I think the conscious one is what I might suspect, I guess.
Okay. Our last question is from Kyrum. It says, are you still single? I'm asking for a friend. Winky emoji.
I do love this because always there's like other single people like Adam. And
they're clearly more attracted to you. I don't get any questions.
Yeah, it's funny that it's become more.
And Kyrum sounds like he's pretty cute.
I guess so. But yes, I am still single, and I am currently looking. So, shout out to all you subscribers.
All right. Well, that's it. Enough roasting of Patrick. Are we going to do this one? What is this TikTok thing?
I don't know, actually.
People didn't like how we asked Elon Musk to do us a solid.
Oh, I think, is this the white dude who was just like...
The white dude,
I remember this video.
So this video submitted. There were a lot of commenters who were not happy that in the way they just sort of tagged on the question about,
Yeah, so we got some criticism for the way we asked Musk to accept Christ, which is very weird for us because we don't do that at the end of every interview show.
Yeah, I never have done that before, ever.
So, I've never seen this one. Let's watch this.
Do me a favor. Go watch this real quick.
We're wondering if you could do us a quick solid and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. on the show? Personal words, it's a quick prayer.
That was the Babylon Bee, and they were interviewing Elon Musk. And there's a few problems that I have with this video. Number one is you cannot do me a quick solid by accepting Jesus. That's just not how it works. Number two is the emotional music does nothing for the video because there's no substance to the gospel presentation, or what they like to call it. If the gospel does not have the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, that he saved you from your sins and all it takes is belief in him, then it's not the gospel. Have a great day.
Owned.
Wow. I don't think we could ever do that again.
I've seen some criticisms of that. Like one guy released a video of that, and then everybody else dogpiled on it. Like, oh yeah, I hated that too. Even though the interview's been up for a month and no one said anything. But I actually hadn't seen, some of them were a little more in depth where they were just like, oh, I wasn't comfortable with joking around with a guy who's actually not a believer and making the gospel kind of a joke, even though they understood that it was satire and being silly. But I hadn't seen that he's like, you guys did a terrible job of presenting the gospel.
He has several problems with this.
I'm glad you mentioned the emotional music because I always love that I put that in every episode.
Do you always put that in over that question?
Yeah, over that question. I usually put something like
I'm a fan. I watch them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't know it was on that one.
Yeah.
Well, because that was the thing. It was supposed to be only for the subscribers too, and I always do that. And so, like, every episode is that.
You make a great point, Pastor Witt, and it's almost like that was the joke. That's exactly what we were trying to parody. So, all right, we got some love mail. This is from DNC Ratheart.
Love mail, baby.
I just want to say sincerely thank you for all you're doing. I'm a butt behind on the podcast, especially the B Reads, but I was listening to the most recent one with Kellen Erskine, and at the beginning, Disneyland was mentioned maybe 8 times. It brought back a flood of memories for me, as less than a month ago, I quit working there after 6 wonderful years and moved out of state with my family. It just makes me kind of sad that I didn't get to meet any of you while you were there, given that you visited so often, even if it was only Kyle.
I guess it would be good. I can meet Kyle.
That's because I would have wanted to say thank you in person for all you're doing in your fight against the insanity that seems to be closing in and found myself in the middle of. Again, thanks from one of your faithful Catholic listeners who was in tears listening to Kyle and Ethan create the dating profile for Patrick, and fellow Disney lover who will freely give you tips about visiting if you want it. Dancer at heart.
Dude, send them all over.
Yeah,
I like how it's Dancer at Heart, and you read it as DNC. Rat Heart.
Rat Heart.
DNC Rat Heart.
I just read it like Democratic National Convention. Rat Heart. Oh, that's wonderful. Sorry, Dancer.
It's Rat Heart. It's Rat Heart now.
All right, here's our subscriber submitted headlines of the week.
Subscriber headline.
This is from DLK Music. AOC, no longer considered dumbest woman in DC, sends muffin basket to Justin Sotomayor with thank you card.
I like that.
Oh, really?
We're working on something similar, I think. I don't know if we put it up, but we're going to say, like, the Babylon Bee apologizes for ever calling AOC
dumb. Pure Tige says, man accidentally rubs ketchup in his eyes, receives hindsight. Hey, I get it.
That one didn't even make Patrick laugh.
I know.
Tige. The next pun Pure Tige post will get him a 24-hour ban.
I don't mind puns if they're in a sort of like pointed joke.
Sure, yeah.
But
I was trying to think about that.
But I don't like ones that are just constructed for the sake of a
just
pun.
for the sake of it,
Yeah. This is from Conservative Prof. Idiot newlywed husband empties the dishwasher and is now doomed to empty it for the rest of his life.
Pure Tige again. What are the odds that this is a pun? Let's find out. Report people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people of Abu Dhabi do.
I feel like it feels like it was taken from a joke book, like one of those 101 jokes.
They also spelled Flintstones wrong, isn't it? Flintstones.
Oh yeah, it's Flintstones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that people say. What do they call it? The Mandela effect.
Yeah, where they
mix
it up. Conservative Prof says rookie husband reminds his wife that he was right about something.
Conservative Prof's having a lot of problems at home. Take my wife, please.
If you need marital counseling, please call the number on the screen rather than pitching headlines.
This is from Veldsbado. Hollywood announces a new sustainability initiative, pledges all films will be made with 100% recycled plots by 2025.
I feel like it's already now.
Slightly desperate housewife. CDC recommends being fully vaccinated and then also getting COVID for strongest immunity. Hey, we published that one.
Oh, cool.
Nice job.
There you go. Conservative Prof again. Sonia Sotomar asks if she can phone a friend during oral arguments. That's pretty good.
Good luck getting my wife off the phone.
Because she's terrible.
Snarky Dissident submitted AOC's boyfriend tested for COVID because he has no taste.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Elbow Fanatic, who's our own, I think, isn't this?
It's Austin Robinson.
That's Austin, yeah. Pelosi's eyebrows distance themselves from us.
That was the cleanest joke I've heard of that. So
That's
far.
really
That was
good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh dear says she's a natural. Justice Sotomayor to replace Joe Reed on The View.
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
This one's from Kiergol. Congress designates January 7th as a national day of remembrance that January 6th just happened.
That was similar to your joke. Didn't we have a joke about
this was the 1 year anniversary of January 6th, and now
coincidentally tomorrow was
the 1 year anniversary of January 7th.
Pure Tej Biden, I learned from the mistakes of those that take my advice. It wasn't a pun.
It's like a thought. It's like a deep thought.
Well, I'm proud of Pure Tej. He's branching out from the puns.
Yeah, he's trying.
Like it.
He's also British or Belgian or something.
Something weird.
Something weird.
Should I do this next one?
Sure. DLK Music.
DLK Music says, a prayer for Kyle Mann and the staff of the Babylon Bee.
Oh, that's nice.
Hey,
Thank you
thanks for
so
the
much.
prayers.
Appreciate the prayers. And there's a bunch of comments, so I'm sure there's a bunch of prayers in there.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, guys.
This is from Polachek. Democrats solve election fraud by legalizing it. A nice, clean headline.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good. Are there more than usual?
I think there are. Dan Dillon might, because he's redone the website a little bit.
Does it just keep loading new ones now? And
We're going to be here a while. Or we'll do a few more. Veldsboda, atheist excited about release of a new video game that will briefly distract him from the futility of his meaningless life.
I'm glad we read that one. That's a pretty good one.
I love good headlines about atheists, like celebrating certain holidays in the life, in the meaningless void. And it's just, it will never not be funny to me.
I'll do Snarky Dissident. USS Arizona rolls over in its watery grave after Kamala Harris equates Pearl Harbor to January 6th.
There's conservative prof. Progressive husband begs wife to kill a spider.
I love everything through the lens of conservative prop having marital
It's not having fun with his wife.
There's always a wife in every punchline.
All right, let's just do two more. This is by Gwen42. 10 clues that the world and this website are definitely run by squirrels.
Oh, it's like a listicle inside of it.
Listicle joke, okay.
It's kind of funny.
And one more joke. This is from Premium Freeloader. Go ahead, Patrick.
Dad tries dressing toddlers to play in snow. Decides would be quicker to just wait for spring.
It is true if you've ever dressed kids to go out and play.
Haven't had that experience
It's
yet.
ridiculous. All right, well, we're going to close this episode with the 10 questions for Patrick, who swears that he's never answered them before.
The 10 questions.
Number 1, have you met Carmen?
No, I never heard of Carmen before this. I completely
Me
missed
neither.
It, so yeah.
Okay.
So no, I've not met Carmen.
Number 2, are you a Calvinist or Arminian?
Closer to Arminian, but I wouldn't say so.
You can add one book to the Bible. What is it? You already added like 7 or 8.
I know, so I got to add at least what's one more.
Maybe one that explains purgatory better.
No, that'd be a little bit better. I swear, if I ever
or mentions it at all.
I know like all, because I've done the interview show so much, so it's like I know all the ones everyone says is always C.S. Lewis or G.K. Chesterton. I'll do this. I'll do the book that I've been enjoying a lot lately is Green Light by Matthew McConaughey. If you ever read that, I suggest doing it on Audible. It's like every time he says something weird, he'll go through this crazy story and he'll just go just like, green light. It's awesome. So it's a great book. I think it was great. Like one of my favorite passages ever was like, he goes to this monastery where he goes to this monk and he tells him like, I don't know what's going on in my life. Everything is horrible. And he goes to this long thing and the monk just looks at him and goes like, me too. That was it. I was like, I enjoyed it. It's a great read.
Cigars or pipes?
Cigars. I remember one of my favorite memories is playing a board game with Kyle, and he kept spilling his pipe all over the game several times. So I'd rather do a cigar.
They are so high maintenance.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
Seems too hard.
You get to hang out with any 3 people, living or dead. Who are they?
Oh man. Okay.
Which 3 popes would you hang
Which 3
out
popes?
Which 3 piouses?
Which 3 pious? I know, there's a lot. Every name. I just watched a Patrice O'Neill documentary, and I feel like he would be. I really am sad that we don't get to hear his take on everything, because every interview or commenting I see of him, it's called "Killing Is Easy." I don't know if you've seen it yet. Really great.
Why did you assume that I hadn't seen him?
Because you haven't heard of it.
I've seen it, and I have hung out with Patrice O'Neill once.
No way, really?
Yeah,
What was that
I
like?
went to a Labor Day barbecue at his apartment in Jersey City like years ago when I lived in New York. There's another comic, Dante Nero, who I was friends with, who was good friends with Patrice. And I had just been doing stand-up maybe a year or 2 at the time, but I knew Dante through. And he was like, oh, yeah, you want to come to Patrice's Labor Day? I didn't talk to Patrice much, but he was barbecuing and grilling, and he was kind of just like, he's very like friendly and warm, but in like where he like roasts everyone. So it's kind of like as he was like serving you food, he would just kind of like mock you a little bit.
So great. Yeah. I would do Patrice O'Neill for sure. I'm so jealous of that. I would do, let's see, Terrence Malick is this very pretentious filmmaker, as people say, but he never does any interviews or anything. He made my favorite like Christian Catholic movie, if you just think that too, called A Hidden Life, and it's like about this like one of the few lay people in during World War II that refused to join the Nazis and almost was forgotten in history. And it's all about like the impact people have with no, like, and that we never hear of. And it's like, it comes from this passage where it's like the history is built on the backs of people who have hidden lives that are unvisited graves. So I would love to meet him because he never talks to the press. And then Thomas Pynchon, which is another author who never does any interviews and no one even knows what he looks like, who wrote Inherent Vice and Gravity's Rainbow, who are these...
No one knows what he looks like, really?
I think we have like high school photos. And
because I've heard the name, like I know of him as an author, but I didn't know he was like that.
Yeah, he's on Simpsons as a reclusive author with a bag over his head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like, I just think it'd be interesting to meet those guys because it's like, I've never... like you never see him, and anytime someone like a news person takes a photo of him, he calls him and says like, take it down or else I'll sue you. So
that was the most pretentious answer we've gotten for that.
I know.
They were very specific.
I
thought about it a lot.
They were not generic answers that we get a lot. I liked it.
It's better than the people that just say like Winston Churchill,
C.S.
Lewis, and
who's like another one?
Like the Apostle Paul.
Yeah. I do like I was thinking about that. The family one is another one too that I do like when people say family members.
Oh,
I think
that's my favorite.
That's always really cool. Like
to me, that question is a test now if you're a good person or not.
It's like,
if you say your family, then
I know because it's like I would love to meet. I have like this great uncle who was.
It's too late. You've already.
I know. He was like a POW in World War II, so I always thought that'd be cool to meet
that's
him
awesome.
too.
Yeah.
So.
Where are we at here? Whiskey or beer?
Whiskey, but I do enjoy beer though too. But
whiskey does both at the same time, in my experience.
As much as I can.
What would be the first thing you would do as president?
Oh man. I guess my favorite answer was the first interview I ever edited, which was Jonah Goldberg, where he says, "Put everything down to as local as possible and break the key." And I would think that would be the best. That was the best answer I think I've heard of all the people.
It's a good one.
Have you ever punched anyone or been punched?
Yes, I do feel like I have. I was thinking this the other day. I have a better embarrassing thing that I've done.
Right.
I think that's a better.
Scratch that. Patrick, what's the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you?
So,
have you ever peed your pants in public?
Okay, it's not that, but it was a better one. Is that I was gonna go visit this girl I really liked, and and she was all the way in Pittsburgh. And I was going to fly out there with 2 friends, but I flew out there one day early, and a snowstorm caused my friends not to come. So then I was all alone with her for 3 days. And my friend told me, he was like, hey, what you should do is just tell her that you like her like 10 minutes before she takes you to the airport. And so the whole time I'm like panicking, like I was like, oh man, I can't do this. I was like, I don't think she really and then we're like,
junior high or when?
No, this was like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
This is not that long ago. And so so we're like getting ready to go to the airport, and I remember I couldn't do it. And then finally we're in the car, and I'm like, how long to the airport? And she's like, 10 minutes. And I was like, Crystal, I gotta tell you something. And then she's like, what? And I was like, no, it's not bad. Well, it can't be. I don't know. And like, it was just going horrible. And she's like, what? And I was just like, Crystal, I like you. I'm sorry.
You apologized right away?
It was horrible.
I like you.
And then I literally said, I'm sorry.
How did she respond?
She responded like a very normal and very nice person and just said like, not right now. And then she ended up getting married a few months later.
A few months later? Was she already engaged at the time?
Okay, sorry, no. I guess she got married the next year. But she found a boyfriend very soon after. But it was horrible. I built it up so much. Yeah. And then I tried that, and then I remember that was probably the worst I ever felt. Because then my friend was like,
you sat for 10 minutes.
Well, what was better is that my friend was like, damn man, it's gonna be the best best flight home if she says yeah, I like you
think
too.
About the reverse.
Instead, it was 8 hours of me just sulking on the plane right home.
Oh,
that's
man.
brutal.
Yeah.
You get to go to one concert, any band in history.
Okay, so I have 2. The one, tell me if this counts, is that it wasn't exactly a concert, but this is what I talk about if I get really drunk, is before Bill Burr was like a legend, he did this, he was just doing this outdoor comedy show in Philadelphia. And Philadelphia, I guess, is kind of known for being bad for comedians. And so comedians kept going on and just getting booed off the stage. And he comes up, and you can see the video online. It's amazing. He goes like, I'm going to do all 15 effing minutes. And he just goes on about destroying Philadelphia. And he goes from getting booed to getting a standing ovation by the end of it. And it's amazing. He just goes all in. He's like, you guys have Rocky as a statue? That would be like if in Boston we had a Cheers statue. And he goes on and on for 15 minutes. And after that, Bill Burr became like a legend for comedians.
So that's not a band.
So that's not a band, but that's always what I thought about as an event.
It's a live performance.
But the other live performance I would say is Johnny Cash in not Folsom. What's the other one? San Quentin.
Oh,
San
nice.
Quentin.
Yeah.
I think
That's
that's one of
cool.
my
That's a good
favorite live
choice.
albums of all time. And when he sings about how much he hates San Quentin and
Yeah.
all the guards are there, I'm surprised no one ever says
You
that
like when
answer.
performers spread hate about where they're at.
I love it so much. It's so funny because it's just it was so funny to hear the prisoners all cheering and him having to walk back through the prison guards.
I would count the Bill Burr one if he sang the whole set.
I know, but he didn't.
Yeah, alas.
No.
Finally, do us a solid and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Just go ahead,
I knew
whatever.
that was coming.
Sure.
Listen
why
to the
not?
music.
I
Yeah,
know.
you got
listen to the music.
Yes, we got
playing
him
right now.
We got him with
We
that
got
very
him.
serious gospel
We got him.
presentation. All right.
That was a funny thing I remember is I was I would go to Harvest in Anaheim, and I remember I would always leave before the altar call because I was like, oh, I know this is coming. And
I went to a Harvest once, and it was really weird to me that they didn't preach the gospel. They didn't talk about Jesus' death or resurrection, just the normal elements you'd expect. And then at the end, he's like, and if you are feeling called, come to the front and accept Jesus.
What is Harvest?
That's one of the big crusades Billy Graham
thing.
used to do.
Oh, okay.
So it's out in Angel Stadium, and they has a lot of
It's Greg Laurie's thing. The
Yeah.
pastor out in Riverside.
Oh, okay.
Chris Tomlin, a bunch of big worship.
They get big
people were
worship
there,
bands. They
and
get
so-
40,000 people to show up, and then they
and it's free.
And then they send you. I got a letter in the mail after I went to that event, and it was like, we got 5,500 people saved this weekend that are now new Christians, and I was like, not if that's what they were saying. Yes,
Yeah, it wasn't me. I left early, so.
That's weird. Yeah,
weird that he
Stuff
said
like that is weird.
Yeah, and he said,
Especially because I always think of the parable of the seed sower,
Right,
and it's they're doing exactly the sort of shallowly accept this right now,
Right.
and then just we got you. You're counting.
And it was an hour or two of all these best Christian bands too. So it's you're all hyped up and everything.
I thought it was inappropriate how Greg Laurie said, "Do me a quick solid."
Yes, you should rant about it on TikTok.
We should do some TikToks about it.
Perfect. All right, everyone. Well, that has been the B Weekly. If you're single, please let us know. Patrick's looking. And everybody have a great week.